Welcome to Revelstoke Responders. I'm joined today by Emma and Charlie. Thanks for joining me today.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Hey.
We're recording this in the green hut of the ski patrol team at Revelstoke Mountain Resort. I was going to not name the resort, but we're in Revelstoke and there's only one ski hill. So
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah. So before we get into it, what brought you to Revelstoke? Charlie, we'll lead with you.
I moved out west, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, chasing the mountains and playing in the snow. Yeah. Revelstoke's a great spot to do everything. So
Did you come right to Revelstoke?
I bounced around a little bit, kind of saw some places, and a friend had a place available and ended up here and I haven't left yet. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Emma?
Yeah, like pretty similar. I think I always wanted to move to Revelstoke. I think it was always on the map or just a goal of mine to move here. And then when COVID happened, my ex-boyfriend and I, we were living in Clearwater, and then we were both just kind of like, we want to move somewhere else. And then we just got a good opportunity for a house in Revelstoke, and we both always wanted to move there. So we're just like, yeah, let's just do it. And then, yeah.
Here you are.
Really look back.
Yeah.
Got to take it when you can get it.
Yeah,
Housing's hard
exactly.
here. So.
For sure. Yeah. And where are you from originally?
I grew up in Ottawa, our nation's capital.
Okay.
Yeah.
I grew up in Sweden.
Yeah, way cooler.
Yeah.
I'm not Canadian.
Yeah. So what brought your family to Canada?
Well, I actually, my story to moving here to Canada is really, really random to begin with. Like, I got into a Bachelor of Geography at Stockholm University, and I did my first day and looked around in the classroom and was like, nope, I don't want to do this yet. And then was on my way home, and I walked past a tourist, I don't know, what do you call it? Like where they go and help you travel, tourist destination?
Travel agency?
Travel agency. That's the word.
Yeah.
I went by a travel
don't
agency.
exist
Yeah, I was
anymore.
like,
That's
yeah,
so
I
old.
know. That makes me feel really old. I just walked by a travel agency and then walked in and was like, I want to go ski somewhere else, but I also want to study somewhere else. And she was like, oh, have you heard of Kamloops and some peaks? And I was like, no, I haven't. And then I signed up, or I applied for Thomson Rivers University and then got in and then just went there for a year. And then, I just happened to move to Canada really randomly.
Perfect.
And I just stayed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be the story.
Yeah, honestly. And that was 10 years ago. So
Awesome. So are your parents still in Sweden?
yes, my whole family is still in Sweden.
Okay.
I'm the only one for the past 12 generations that left.
Oh, wow.
I was the first one, I think. Actually, the first one ever in my family that left to move somewhere else.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very random.
Yeah. So why ski patrol? What do you think pushed you guys towards ski patrol?
I don't know, to be honest. I feel like I've bounced around a lot of different jobs, but I've always just really enjoyed being outside and trying to make that work as a living.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was kind of pushing towards the guiding stream and realized I didn't really have any first aid experience and wanted to just brush up on that. And I think that's how I got started and haven't left. I'm still enjoying it here. So
Perfect. Yeah. Emma?
Yeah, I was really set on being a ski guide, or I wanted to be a ski guide, and then I volunteered one year for the resort here and just really fell in love with it. And I was like, this is really fun. This is really cool. I would rather do this. And then just kind of stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And I met you two. Well, I met Charlie first, and then I met Emma through ski patrol, but I volunteered. Mm-hmm. And do you find that volunteering first is sort of a good first step for a lot of people to try it out and see if the shoe fits?
Definitely.
yeah. I mean, that's how I started too. We all started there.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's the best way to just get a foot in the door and get to know everyone, see what it's all about. And
Yeah.
It's pretty low commitment for Revelstoke compared to other ski resorts, and in terms of the days that they want, and I don't know, it's just good to like just check it out. Like I know other resorts probably they want you to do like double the amount of days that you want here, so it's more of a commitment. Versus here, I feel like it's a lower commitment for sure.
Yeah. Because here it's about 14 days, but then 2 of those days are your training days, so you're down to 12 days in the season, which really seems quite manageable depending on employment and things that are going on in your life. To become a ski patroller, what are sort of the baseline baseline training or certificates that you should look to get if you wanted to start from zero?
Well, I mean, first thing is you got to be able to ski at a fairly high level, which
have a passion for skiing. I think, number one.
Which I mean everyone does.
Yeah,
here, you know, even if you're not a ski patroller, everyone just wants to ski. So that's probably the biggest baseline, and then first aid skills. So an 80-hour first aid course. We used to accept the wilderness first responder course, but I don't think we're accepting that anymore. So it's got to be an occupational first aid course.
Okay.
OFA 3.
Yep.
And then the Canadian Avalanche Association.
Yeah.
Avalanche for Operations Level 1.
Yeah. RMR's kind of like unique in that way though, that they want you to have your Ops 1 to start out with, versus other resorts just kind of want you to have your first aid ticket, and then you do your in-house training. Most of the resorts do.
Okay.
Or they have their own certification. Usually it's through like Peak does most of it these days.
Yeah.
And then, for here you need your Ops 1.
Right.
Ops 1. There's a lot more avalanche terrain here than a lot of other places.
Of course.
And a lot of other places see a lot more first aid than we do. So they just hire a team of first aid patrollers, which is kind of their focus. But yeah, Peak is our kind of they do a lot of ski patrol in BC. So they have the non-urban part of it, which is kind of like the wilderness side of it, which is better for like backcountry rescue skills. But you also get the occupational side of it. Yeah.
So those are the requirements to be a paid employee of ski patrol. But as a volunteer, it's just the because I had my 80-hour wilderness. Would that still apply, or are you looking for OFA 3s?
For volunteer, I don't really know what they are anymore. I think
80-hour, I think it's just the requirement. Doesn't really matter which one.
I don't think it matters which one. I'm not sure if they've upped it to an ops for volunteers though too. I know it used to be just the AST, just the avalanche safety.
Oh, of course, yeah, AST 1.
I think they want an ops for volunteers now too.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that.
I just remember when I did it back in my day, there was you need the 80-hour.
How many years ago was that?
7.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
It would have been, so I know that I needed my 80-hour in my Ops 1, or AST 1 or 2 was like the minimum, but Ops 1 was like the bonus and preferred.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think now it's just 80-hour, and then I don't know, they might have changed it again back to.
Yeah,
because when we were
I'd have to double check. It'll be on the website somewhere.
It would be
there's probably a job listing for it.
Yeah.
Which is usually always open if people want to apply for it.
Yeah. And then once you're hired on, do you find that there's lots of opportunity for training to improve skills and develop as a patroller?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
we're like constantly doing training.
Yeah, I think it's like always just the first couple of seasons working full time. One of our patrols that we work with, like, he put it in a really a good way. I think like the first 2 years that you work patrol, especially here, because it's a bit of a different operation, would probably be the 2 most hardest years, like seasons you've ever worked in your entire life. Like, you just have to enjoy kind of like type 2 fun, any sort of weather. Like, you always have to, like, as long as you come out with a good mindset, it doesn't really matter. Like, I think that's just what the key is to this job. It's like, you're gonna have miserable days, but as long as you have a good mindset around it and you're just kind of like working well in a team and you're appreciating your team, like, it's fine. But it's to be honest, it's kind of gonna suck. Like, you know, you're gonna work really, really hard.
Yeah.
And then once your body get used to it and you get used to it, like, it's so fun. Like, it's fun still. Like, I always have fun, but like, there are some days that you're like, okay, this is hard.
Yeah.
It does force you, even as a volunteer. My experience was, you sign up for your days and you don't know what the snow condition or the weather's like on those days. So all of a sudden, you're patrolling and it's negative 25 and
Yeah.
there's bulletproof snow and groomers, and that's kind of all you're doing for the day, but it's just gets you out and makes you put the ski boots on, which for some is good and for some others it's not as fun.
Yeah, you got to learn to love it.
Yeah.
We're out there every day in every condition.
You get
be
like
able to
really, really good at
hold it all.
being comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like with this job, for sure. Like it's just part of it.
And that's something that Revelstoke is, there's only ski patrollers. You can't snowboard patrol.
Yeah. No
And that's mainly
snowboarders.
due to how traversy and, you know, you
That's
have to do a
definitely
lot
a big part of it. Yeah, there's a lot of flat traverses, so like skating around on skis really helps. Another big part of it is avalanche control. You can't really safely do ski cuts on a snowboard,
Right.
so can't really have that liability. Yeah.
Gotcha. So looking at that, what does sort of a day in the life, you know, you show up, what do the first, let's say 2 to 3 hours of a ski patroller shift look like?
Well, brush the snow off the car if it's a good day. Show up for work, boots on, and all your gear for 7. And then we'll have our forecaster go over the weather and if there's any avalanche problems and what to expect for the day. And then if there's any avalanche control to do, and that's what we go do first thing in the morning. There's usually 3-4 teams going out on different control routes. Make sure there's no avalanche problem for when we open the hill.
And then like our forecaster tells each team too, like how many shots we're gonna need, and like there's 2 other patrols are already up there, and they're kind of grabbing all of everything we need, the ammo that we need for the day, and then you kind of build what you need, and then we build our bombs, and then we just kind of head up and go on the control routes where the other team, like there's a patrol leader that's designated for each day that kind of just runs the show and the operation behind it while control is going on. And you kind of have like just making sure the danger area and like all of the hazards are just kind of controlled and just public stays out of the way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then-
And sometimes we have to keep terrain closed too if it's not a manageable avalanche problem and it's unsafe for people to be there. So we'll keep that closed. We're not just, keeping it closed to do laps. Like it's dangerous. So
Yeah.
that's why we do that. And then, what else do we do? We set up runs,
Yeah.
put out signage every day,
Yeah.
check for hazards and
And
figure out how
then,
to deal with it.
yeah,
And then
run check everything. There's certain, like, we do first aid checks every day at certain spots around the mountain.
Yep.
Make sure all our toboggans are in place and they're looking good. And kind of just, between that, just responding to calls. When everything is open, everything is checked. And then we do sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sweep is pretty extensive here, too.
Yeah,
So
sweep
it's
is. I
like-
remember that being quite
Yeah.
a job.
It's,
Yeah.
There's what is it? Longest vertical in North America or something. I
Yeah.
think that's marketing's favorite
Yeah. that's-
slogan. But yeah, no, we have every morning we'll do our checks. We'll have one patroller go down every single run, and then at the end of the day we do the same thing. So
Yeah.
we do a fair bit of skiing.
That was the best part as a volley.
Yeah.
Is you got to do the run checks. That was your
Yeah.
most skiing of the day.
Yeah, and you have a little bit less responsibility, so
Yeah.
it's easier to just go ski.
Yeah.
It's
Just
great.
have fun. Enjoy it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you mentioned the shots. I think that's something that maybe not a lot of people know. I mean, in Revelstoke, we do hear them a lot. You're on the chairlift and you hear the pops of explosives going off to do the avalanche control. Can you kind of describe, what building a bomb is and sort of the safety? Like, how do you mitigate the risk for yourselves as you mitigate the risk for the public?
yeah.
Um,
We both just did our blasters exam just the
Yeah.
other day,
yeah.
Oh, nice.
so we're getting another quiz on it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's keep you fresh.
Yeah, no, we always have to have teams of 2 because if there's an avalanche, you have to have someone to rescue you. So that's the biggest thing. And we have our transceivers, our shovel, our probe, all of our safety gear. And if it's a small avalanche problem, like some fresh snow, we're getting some sloughing, we'll do some ski cuts. So basically we're doing controlled traverses across the slope to slough out the snow and create an avalanche. If it's anything more hazardous than that, we'll use some explosives to trigger it, so we're not putting ourselves at risk. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like our like the forecasters and that we have here, and like our usually mindset and approach is, you know, like we don't put ourselves in unnecessary risk in terms of ski cutting. Like, you know, a lot of other resorts prefer maybe to do ski cutting compared to just throwing a bomb, versus here it's more, a little bit more prioritized to just have hand charges. Like we just rather throw a bomb on a slope than ski cut it if there's any sort of uncertainty or any sort of risk that we might think. Like it's in that way I really appreciate this operation, because I feel like it's your safety always comes first, and you always feel heard if there's anything, any sort of concern of any route that you're on, or you just kind of just let your forecaster know that you're like, you know, I'm not sure about this, and they're like, absolutely do what you need to do, you know.
Yeah.
And you have those what look like zip lines over high risk areas. How do those work? Is the bomb dropped, or is it...
So it's our tram line. So we basically have a big steel plate that has a chain on it. From that we dangle a bomb, and we'll slide it down this fun little zip line for it until it's dangling above the slope, and it creates a big concussion like air blast wave, which has a huge effect on the slope. So we don't even have to go over there. We can just send it down the line. So
it's not dropped, it's the air concussion that causes... That's interesting. You know, you hear them, but you don't know what's all happening. Cool. So you just did your bomb ticket. Is there, as you become full-time employees, like what are some of the other main tickets? You have your Ops 1, Ops 2. Is there anything else that would kind of be surprising, or?
Surprising. I don't really know. There's a bunch of like prerequisites now for the level 2. So, AVSAR, Avalanche Search and Rescue, is one of them. And then there's a weather course as well. So you're kind of delving further into that kind of, that world, you know? We have advanced protocols as well as part of our first aid training, so we can give some pain management medications and stuff, and some other protocols.
Nice. Any funny training stories that you can bring up?
I feel like there's so many there's always like so much stuff that goes wrong. We train with so many different things, like explosives, first aid. We do a lot of ropes. Rescue. If someone gets caught on a cliff or something, we'll go in and have a system ready for that. Or if chairlifts break down, we have to be ready for that sort of a rescue too.
I think it's like with us, because we always carry airbags like in all training that every day with our operation. So when we do training, there's a lot of like unintentional deployment of your airbags in certain situations, like sitting on a chairlift and you're doing something and all of a sudden your airbag goes off. Or you ski and you have a bail and you hit so hard on your back, your airbag goes off as well.
That's a classic.
Which is
So the ski of shame as you finish the run.
A big orange balloon.
You know.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I
feel like it's always a rite of passage to do our gondola evac training in the rain. Like that's always something that happens. I remember also Adam showed up one year and like his Gore-Tex was like not waterproof anymore, and he had like 4 layers of garbage bags on underneath, and he was just fully it was like a sweatsuit in there. But he
was cutting weight.
He
was cutting weight
clearly.
I remember our like first year when we did our training, it was really, really miserable. This was like 4 years ago now. And it was just raining all day. Everyone was soaked, and we were just sitting in the stoke or the bump at the top of the gondola, and our forecaster was just talking, and he was just kind of sitting there, and it had like his ski boot kind of leaned up a bit, and all of a sudden this just big like of water just came out of his ski boot, and we're all just like kind of sitting there, and it was just like, and he didn't even like react to it whatsoever. He was just kind of looking at it, and was like, yep, and then we're all just like, yep. And that was just like a good summer. Like it just summarized the day. It was just like, it's really miserable, but we're all just sitting here just soaked, accepting it.
Those are the days.
Those are the days.
You mentioned the backpacks. What would you carry on a normal day in your backpack?
Well, airbags.
Airbag.
Airbag.
It's built into it.
It's built.
It's pretty
your
useful.
first aid kit, your shovel, your probe.
You're wearing your transceiver. We have a personal harness, so like tiny little glacier harness with some cordage in case a lift breaks down while we're on it. We have a rope which people might have seen around in Revelstoke, the infamous little bags
Those
at the
aren't
bottom
your
of the lift.
Those aren't your lunches.
No, they're not your lunches.
I think
Believe it
that's
or
a
not.
misconception, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that has a rope in it. We'll bring it on the lift with us, and then if it breaks down, we can just rappel off the lift. We have our harness and stuff. So that lives in our pack.
Extra layers.
Extra layers are key. Extra gloves. I usually carry like 3 pairs of gloves with me.
Yeah. Extra
They're-
tubes.
They always get soaked. Yeah.
Or like buffs.
Snacks.
A lot of buffs.
Lots of snacks.
Lots of snacks.
Coffees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emergency snacks for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you never know, like, we're going route as well. If we have like a misfire or something,
Yeah.
we
you
need to
can-
stay out there, and you're going to be there out there for a long time.
You can be out
So,
there a long time. Yeah.
yeah.
I remember showing up one day. I think it was like New Year's Eve day or like Christmas Eve day.
Yeah.
And it was a big snow day, so we had like quite the avalanche route. So boots on at 7, and I was out there throwing bombs until like 1:30. I don't think I was back up at the Stoke bump until like 2.
Yeah.
I was like,
A
I
big
had
morning.
a coffee. Like, I'm getting quite tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be.
Emergency snacks for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Got to have your snacks on you.
Mhm.
That's after all the safety gear. That's
Yeah.
top of the list.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's a go-to snack?
Ooh.
Cheese.
You're
Simple.
Yeah.
You're savory. I'm usually
Yeah.
sweet. I usually
Yeah.
go with like a granola bar.
I need savory.
Okay.
Yeah, a muffin. I like
Yeah.
muffins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy. Can
Yeah.
compact them.
Squish them.
Squish them.
Get them
Yeah,
flat.
yeah, I mean, a
little
muffin
bit-
in any form
A
is
little bit more sad. A
Yeah.
sad
Yeah.
muffin, but
Yeah.
yeah, they're still good.
So when an incident does occur, what are what's a 1,000-foot view of the response to an incident?
Yeah, so it'll get reported, or like someone will see it from the lift and like come get us, or someone will call it into dispatch, and then they'll put it on the radio, and we'll send whoever's closest. And then you do like a scene size up, a primary assessment, and whatever resources you need, you'll call for on the radio. And then stabilize the patient hopefully,
Yeah.
and then get them out of there. That's usually the biggest challenge, is
Right.
the rescue
Getting them
part
out
of
of
it.
there. Yeah. I think it's one thing worth mentioning too with like RMR is that it's more of a mountain rescue operation a lot of times, more so than like a first aid operation. Like we deal with a lot of ropes, we deal with a lot of steep terrain, so it's like the rescue and like getting them out of there is usually the trickiest
Yeah.
part, and it usually takes the longest. Like on average, getting a patient down is 45 minutes to an hour. So it's like you got a lot of considerations. You know, hypothermia is one of the biggest one, obviously. So just like,
Yeah.
you know,
I like to think of us as like we do first aid, we do avalanche control, but we're really extraction specialists.
Right.
yeah,
That's our bread and butter.
That's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah.
I only did one season of volley patrol, but I skied upon an incident and then was the tail rope on a sled on a toboggan.
Yeah.
And it is, I think I missed the training day for it, and all of a sudden I was doing it, which was, pretty exciting.
Yeah.
It's hard
it's
Yeah.
really
through,
hard.
especially through
Yeah.
mogully terrain or anything like in the,
Oh, it's a workout.
It's the best workout ever.
it is.
And
It's
hey,
like doing a wall sit
Yeah.
for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and might I remind you, we've got the longest vertical in North America, so you got a long way to go. Yeah.
Marketing is going to love
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. My legs don't love me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
It's tough.
Mhm.
Like it's hard. Like it's not. Yeah. But then that's the kind of nice thing because we do have a lot of belay kits and stuff. So if you are in any challenging terrain, you could just set up a belay kit and just help yourself get out a little bit easier. But there's definitely been some fun moments, I would say, where I've been on a call and you're like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, you're going a little bit faster. Yeah. Oh, that's my tail rope.
yeah.
Right. I was all we're going so fast. Like, or you look up and you're like, oh, okay, we're just committed. We're
Yeah.
gonna keep going.
Yeah. One person crew.
Yeah.
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 So Revelstoke also has summer mountain biking. Charlie, you did
Yeah.
bike patrol. Emma, did you bike
I did
patrol?
as well. Yeah.
I did one season.
One
yeah.
season? Yeah.
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 What are some main differences that you see summer to winter in terms of first aid response or patient extraction, things like that?
Yeah, they're quite different. There's a lot more people here in the winter.
Mhm.
It's like a way bigger operation. In in the winter, it's really easy to just pop someone on a toboggan and slide them out on the snow. If someone gets hurt on a bike trail, it's often a long ways to the next road crossing, which is our main way of getting you off the mountain. And we have this litter and wheel, we call it. It's basically just like a stretcher you can put someone in, and then underneath is a wheel, like a bike wheel. It's like a weird unicycle.
Okay.
And that's kind of how we roll you down the trails. But it's a lot of work. It takes like one person on each corner at least, so 4 people per call, as opposed to 2 in a winter scenario. And then in terms of injuries, just because of the sheer volume, there's more injuries in the winter. But for like compared to how many people are there, there's a higher percentage of people getting hurt in the summer. And it's often dirtier and bloodier.
Yeah. Snow's forgiving.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
Trees and dirt are not as forgiving.
Yeah, not quite as fun.
I don't like mountain bikes are freaking tough though.
You can hurt yourself really easily.
Yeah. I feel like my experience with summer patrol versus winter patrol was like the frequency of calls is usually less in the summer, but when you have them, they're more severe because you know that like a mountain biker is like, all right, when they call this in, they're like, they actually need you. They really need you.
Yeah.
Not saying they don't need you in the winter either, but it might just be more of like, you know, a person who's new to skiing and is just really not intimidated by the terrain, or is just not familiar with the terrain. It just wants a little bit of gentle nudge or help or guidance.
I also find mountain bikers are way tougher than skiers.
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
Like,
for sure. Yeah.
I've seen people like bike off the mountain with a broken wrist. Like they didn't even want our help.
Yeah.
But then skiers. It's like,
I had a guy with a
these
ruptured
ski boots
spleen
hurt,
when I was working this summer, and I was like, "Do you want me to help?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"No," and like just did not want anything to do with me. Like,
Okay.
they're just tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
He went to the hospital and was fine. Like, but
That's
like,
good.
but in the moment, it's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I know, Charlie, you've been able to travel with this work. Where has ski patrolling and mountain patrolling taken you?
Yeah, I did I'm calling it a sabbatical. I went to New Zealand for a year on a holiday visa and did a year of patrolling over there.
Yeah.
Did a winter and a summer there, which was really cool. Very different snowpack and terrain. The biking was incredible there. I loved it. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool to have those opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done any
no
travel?
I
No.
No.
But
maybe one day.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
But you've jumped careers a little bit.
I have, yes.
Yeah. You're another Revelstokian member of BC Ambulance.
Yes, another
one.
Another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'll be the 4th on the podcast that I've interviewed who have done something and are also in ambulance. So it's quite a trend. Seems to funnel people well, which makes sense.
Yeah. I think it's just, I think ski patrolling is just an amazing segue in that sense. If you really enjoy first aid, it's a great opportunity to move into other first responder, positions and areas. And that's all very applicable.
Yeah. Oh, we spoke to Jill, and Jill came from the same area. She ski patrolled in Alberta and then wound up in ambulance, which is awesome. And I think you're right. It's a great kind of a way to dip your toes, especially as a volunteer ski patroller, because you can do a season. And I did my 14 days, and I think I only assisted with 3 calls.
Yeah.
Which was great. Kind of you're not super busy as a volley, and you can certainly get your ski days in, which is great, and it helps with the ski pass. But but if you want, you can be kind of as involved as you want to be. So it is a totally awesome opportunity.
Yeah. I think I think ski patrolling, like, at least for me, gave me a really good idea of like what I love about the job. And like, as much as I love skiing and everything I do, the first aid portion of it is what I do really enjoy. Like, I remember my first call I did as a volley, and I was just like, the rush afterwards, you're like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah,
like,
so high on adrenaline.
You're like, whoa, let's
Yeah.
go. But like, I think it's fun. And obviously it's not fun to take care, like, on the other side, but it's just, I don't know. I just think it's like, it's part that make you realize that what other aspects of, like, in the industry, as much as like you can go into like forecasting and you can do more like avalanche, go down that route as well, like as much as you can do with first aid. So I think it's
Yeah, it does seem like there's lots of avenues. Like you said, you both were kind of headed towards the guide ticket, and now, you know, you've found this maybe more of a passion. We chatted with Ross, who's done like avalanche dog stuff, and
Rogo.
a lot of the some training, like teaching courses and things. Like there's lots of avenues once you get that higher level of training that you can. Do you see yourselves, you know, moving into maybe education side of things, or what's your future, Charlie?
What's your future, Charlie?
I wish I knew.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I really enjoy the snow science and avalanche side of things. Emma's a bit more first aid. I'm maybe a little bit less excited about first aid, more the other stuff. Yeah, and the rescue part of it is kind of like using ropes and stuff is quite fun. So yeah, might go down that path in the future. But
And that's why I think it's so good to have like all of us. We have a big team, and we all feel very passionate about like all these different things.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what makes it really good. You know, if it would be kind of lame if we're all like the same things, right? If we're all hyper focused on just the one thing, it's just
yeah, everyone brings their
the
own
diversity,
strength.
around
It's
it.
awesome.
So that kind of leads the question, if you were to join another first responding group, what would it be?
I don't know if I would.
I've gotten that answer from a lot of people, which is
Search
awesome.
and rescue, maybe?
It means you,
Search and rescue. I think
Yeah.
the rescue part of it would be quite interesting.
yeah,
Not quite as drawn to the first aid part.
again, yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Fair
know.
enough.
I don't know too much about fire, but yeah, that also seems quite interesting.
We did fire training where we were, all of our paramedics were kind of doing training with the fire crew, like the structural fire crew the other day. And I was like, whoa, I have so much more respect for you guys.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing
Mm-hmm.
what you guys do.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
We started a small little fire response program in the summer here.
Oh, nice.
We did some training too, but
Yeah.
Just in case something on
in case like one tree catches fire, we'd be able to respond. But like
Hell yeah.
not much more than that.
right.
We're kind of just like delay it until you guys can get there, you know.
Gotcha.
with wildfire, but
Still,
yeah.
But that tree would be in good hands.
Oh
Yeah.
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 It's a long ways from when I started. When
the tree would be out.
well, we did have a tree get hit by lightning and caught on fire.
In Paramania,
And-
which is funny.
Oh, that's a different one.
Oh, really?
This was my first year at bike patrol, and there was a tree on fire, and me and Don Robertson went out with like buckets and an axe and found a river and like doused this tree. It was like, okay, we should maybe think
little
about this a little
scrappy.
more
Maybe we should
seriously.
have a little bit more of a,
Yeah,
that's funny.
yeah,
Yeah, because then the following year, the year after, was the lightning struck in Paramania, like the ski run in the winter, which I think is funny.
yeah.
You gotta love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was,
Right?
yeah.
Somebody's got a sense of
Ironic.
humor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For anyone looking to become a ski patroller, do you have a piece of advice that you could lend?
I got
Yeah.
many, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think I think ski patrolling is like, for me, what it's done for me is just like, it has helped me develop a really good work ethic, and it's allowed me to adapt and try to work well, hopefully at 100% of the time in a team, but you learn as you go, and I think it just helps you grow a lot as a person as well. And for anyone that wants to come into this world and start patrolling, like, I would just say, like, the key thing is like the mindset and the attitude that you have on you.
For sure.
It doesn't matter how good of a skier you are. It doesn't matter how many certs or qualifications you have. Like, if you're a good team player and you have a good mindset and attitude, like, that is really everything at the end of the day.
Yeah. Positive attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some critical thinking.
Yeah.
And
Maybe a little dark sense of humor in there.
Oh, definitely a
always a
dark
good-
sense of
good
humor.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Helps in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, a bit of hard work.
Yeah.
I feel like all those things apply to like any job, but I feel like especially in patrol, like, we have so many things that we need to like be ready for. So just kind of being good at the basics, you know, being a good human being, being ready to work hard. Yeah, you go a long ways.
Nice.
You'll go a long ways in anything you do, really. But yeah,
But I feel like doing it in the elements is always like a real test of, can you put those things, you know, again, when the weather's not perfect, not every day is going to be blow or pow, and you're not going to, you know, there are going to be days where you wish you weren't on skis, but you sign up and you go out and look after the people who also have decided that skiing to that day is
Today's
okay.
day. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Sometimes we like to make fun of them. Like, who would want to be skiing here today? But
Mine is like 40 or like, yeah.
Mm. What do you say? What would you think is like one of the worst days of patrolling? You've like, not calls wise, but like ski condition, weather wise.
It's like the crunchy, I think, when it's really cold and every turn you do is just like you're skiing on styrofoam. Like that to me. But that's just my personal pet peeve, to be honest. That's just my like, but
pretty
like
bad laps on the banker on like refreeze stuff. Like
that's not ideal either.
Like we'll go check the run before we open it to see if it's safe, and it's like, oh my god,
Can't
like you get 2
confirm.
turns in and it's like, this is frozen chicken heads the whole way down.
Yeah.
But
What's
I
a
gotta do
frozen
it.
chicken head ski condition?
No, yeah, should probably explain that.
Yeah.
It's like so snow will warm up, it'll melt a little bit, and then you can have these weird shapes or like snowballs that kind of form, and then they'll refreeze and it'll be the size of a chicken head, so that's why we call it that.
Okay.
And they'll just grab your skis and want to rip your ankles off. But yeah.
Honestly, I think it's like early conditions at the hill too, when we have to ski every single run. And I remember one time I was just like, there were so many hidden logs still, and it was just getting dark, and you're just like, I'm not having a good time right now, but it's okay, just get me down. I just want to leave. But
it is those sweeps. I had a very bad experience on one of my sweeps when you have to ski, lower elevation, when a lot of people can take the gondola out and you're stuck skiing all the runs that everyone's avoided.
Yeah.
And I think styrofoam is a good explanation, because there was a crust on top and it just grabbed your boots, and you just would ski in a straight line until you could stop and then cut the ice and go the other way down.
Yeah. And then at some point you're just like, I'm just committed right now.
Yeah.
Like, speed is my friend. I gotta commit to this, and then like it can go either way, but here we are.
Yeah, and you feel like the worst skier on the planet. But it's the conditions.
That's why I'm so happy.
Ain't gotta be pretty, but
Public
you gotta
is
get a
not
job
good.
done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think something we see quite often is going up to the top and doing avalanche control, and it's just, you're in a cloud. It's just like being inside a ping pong ball. You can't tell up from down, and you're doing a traverse across the slope. Like, where am I right now? I don't know if I'm going up or down. You have this weird sense of vertigo, and you're dizzy, and it's trying to avoid avalanches.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And you got your dark lens on for some reason.
Yeah. Don't come to work with a dark lens. You don't need a dark lens in this town.
That's fair.
No.
Yeah. It's always low light.
Is there a misconception about ski patrol that you hear often or correct people on?
What's the common one? That we have it closed so we're doing laps? I don't think anyone actually believes that. Like, it's closed because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
We're throwing bombs so there's no avalanches, so that it's safe for you to ski. We want to go ski it too, but we have to make it safe first.
Right.
And we're not saving it for ourselves.
And I think it's also kind of like the whole that all we do is ski around, which we do, but like that's kind of like skiing for fun is usually 10% of the day. Like maybe we get a fun lap in every now and then, but most of the time we're not just skiing around for fun.
There's always something to do.
There's always
some sign that's fallen over or someone's gotten hurt.
Yeah. What else? I feel like that's all.
The skiing is just in between.
Yeah, exactly.
Except when you're volley, I did have one morning where I did my run check and I got 3 laps of unbelievable pow before the chairlift opened, but you got to jump on the chairlift in front of all the waiting crowds. That was a rush.
Yeah.
Made it all worth it.
We definitely get some really awesome laps in, but it's like that doesn't.
It's
that's
just
not
the
100%
nature of
of the
being up
time.
here every day,
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
They're earned.
Yeah, they're earned. They really earned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Earn your turns.
Yeah,
that's it.
I feel like another thing people don't really know is the number for patrol. For here, 250-814-5055. But you don't need to remember it. It's on the back of your pass.
There you go.
In bolded and red, I think. But
yeah,
and that's pretty common on like
and now
every
there's
ski
a lot
pass,
of signs too as well. Like,
there's a lot of signs around. Yeah, our
but
numbers
people
but
don't really read signs. Like I don't blame them. I don't think I do either. But like I should. No, okay, no, but I think I think a lot of like another misconception probably of patrol too. It's kind of like it is a really fun job, but it's also a very like serious job at the same time for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
you guys can laugh, but I could tell everyone's a professional, a very quiet professional when the push comes to shove.
Yeah,
exactly.
We like to have fun. We have our moments, but when we got to work, we're ready for it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, perfect. Well, thank you both for your time. This has been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
We look forward to seeing you on the slopes.
Yeah, we'll see you out there.
Perfect.
See you out there.
Thanks, guys.